couple of people who asked me to just do a brief tutorial or introduction onto the pentatonic scale. It's what I learned first in terms of scales long before I got my head around the major or the actual minor scale, which I've only recently learned. The pentatonic is probably the one everybody gets used to initially. It's that. There's various ways of remembering it. I've seen one recently, Steve Stein did, and he says it's a 1-3, 3 2s and 2 3s, and that basically relates to the number of semitones between each note, starting at the root. So you're playing on an open E, so this would be classed as the E minor pentatonic. Basically all your open strings form the sort of, if you like, that left hand side of the scale, and then you've basically got the other notes which form the rest of it, which is 1 of 3, so that's open, 1, 2, 3, so that's the 3rd fret on the E bass, which is a G. So you've got open E, G, so there's your 1, 3. Then you've got 3 2s. So on the A string, which some people call the 5th string, it's open, 2nd fret, which is B. On the D string, which is sometimes called the 4th string, open, 2nd fret, which is an E. So in other words, an octave. On the G string, again, open, and then the 2nd fret, which is an A, which is the same as an open A. Then on the B string, you've got open, 3rd fret, that's a D, same as the open D, just an octave up again. And on the E string, your 1st string, or the high E, you've got open E, and again 3rd fret, which is a G, which makes sense of course because you've got a G on the bass one. Both being E's, then it stands to reason open and 3rd on both, just an octave apart. So it's open, 3, open, 2, open, 2, open, 2, open, 3, open, 3. So you've got your 1 3, your 3 2s, and your 2 3s. Now that's your open E position. You play that quick. Well, there's an obvious riff there for people of a certain generation. Now if you want to move that up the neck, basically your finger becomes your nut. So imagine you've got your finger there, that's your nut. So you slide that up to the 5th fret, so you're barring the whole 5th fret, and they're all notes for the A minor pentatonic. And again the same rules apply, so 3 frets up, so that'd be the 8th, so that's 5 and 8 on the E string, 5 and 7 on the A, 5 and 7 on the D, 5 and 7 on the G, 5 and 8 on the B, and 5 and 8 on the E. And that's what your movable minor. So if you were playing, say, blues around the G, you move it down there. You're playing it around the C, then you move it up to the 8th fret. Playing it on the D, move it up to the 10th fret. Now you can play one note, one string down, but the pattern changes, so I won't go into that. Basically, if you're playing one string down, it becomes one of the other box positions for the pentatonic. So it'd be, I think it's somewhere around box 4, I think it might be. But don't worry about that, just box 1. 1. So 5, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 8, 5, 8. And as Steve Stein pointed out in one of his videos, if you're struggling to remember which are the 3, focus on the A, D and G, and you know the 2 frets apart for each of them. So you can just stick around there and muck about there. Now, once I'd learnt that, I started to incorporate a bit of box 5, which is the one before it, because it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in terms of boxes. And I also learnt of a bit of the next box up, and that's just so I could add a bit more. So instead of being stuck to, you can. And basically I know that in the box below it, so if you're going from your 5, you've got 2s there on your E and B string, and you've got 2s on your E and A. Now you also know that that note is valid because of course it's part of that. So those 5 notes are again part of the pentatonic for A minor, but in the 5th position. So it's 5, 3, 5, 3, 5. And it just allows. And the same with those, with 3, 5, 3, 5, allows. And that slides you up to the 5 and 7 that form part of the A. So that's one sort of section to learn. And the other part is after your 5 and 8 on your B and E, 8 and 10 are fine on the B and E. And what you do then is, if you're playing with your 1st and 3rd fingers, then your 2nd finger's well placed to hit the 9th on the G string, which is just the same note of course as the 5 on the B. And that allows you then to go from 5, 7, slide up to 9, 8, 10, 8, 10. So I'm not worried about the rest of the box. I mean, you can extrapolate the rest by just using the notes if you want to, or studying the diagrams online somewhere. I just focus on those 5 notes. So that's 9 on the G, it's 8 on the B, 10 on the B, 8 on the E, 10 on the E. Again, that's sort of like the top part of box 2. It just allows you to slide up. So it's just, you don't need to learn all of that box to sort of break yourself out of box 1. because there is a danger if you just focus on that. You end up trapped within certain licks and you just end up playing the same lick and over. Whereas if you've got these little bits of the other boxes surrounding box 1, it gives you a bit more freedom. So as opposed to being stuck in all the same notes, but it just means you can slide into a note rather than hitting the note. It just gives it a better dynamic. So that's basically where I learnt it. And obviously, again, as I say, you change your key. If you go from an A to a C, you just shunt everything up the neck. And something I hinged on there was like 9th fret on the G. You know, if you want to sort of test yourself, instead of just going and getting a diagram for box 2, work it out from the existing one. So you know that 5, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 8, 5, 8. So okay, that tells you that 10 on the E is valid, which we should know because of course 10 on the E is valid there. So 10 on the A. So again, 10 on the D. 9 on the G. And we know those because we've just gone over them. So box 2 is and that's how I work a lot out. If I'm learning something, that's how I figured out the A minor scale. As a side note, you just literally, once you know where it is at some point on the fretboard, you can hunt all around the fretboard for it, and it just slowly opens the fretboard for you. Because if you think, oh well, that note, now when you're starting to go to box 3 there, so just by sort of picking on one note like that, you're just picking on those top 2 strings, you know, you can work out and that's just pick out the note, work out where it is, and then start playing with it. So that's something I hope someone finds useful that I've done. Other thing, little thing I'll add is, if you want to sort of get used to playing, what's this with the hands? You want to get used to playing the minor over a chord progression, you can use power chords. Now, I presume most people are familiar with a power chord, but if you're not, basically if you're playing an A power chord, A on the E string, that's your root, so that's 5th fret. And then it's the 7th on the A and the D. Now you're not doing a full, you're literally playing those 3 strings, you know, you're not playing those top 3. That's an A power chord, drop it down 1 string, it's a D. Move it up 2 frets, it's an E. E, D, A. Again, shift that, you've got G, C, D. So if you want to play down there with the pentatonic, you can. And what I'll do is stuff like, and again, you can sort of stick to these 3 2s, as it were, on the A, D, and G. You know. just playing a one hit on the power chord and then just mucking about with the pentatonic scale. What I am doing is tend to throw a lot of bends in around the G strings on the 7th fret. The one thing you've got to be aware of when you are bending is, one, make sure you bend into the right note. And that's a way I practice to make sure I'm hitting the bend right, is hit the note, then bend to it. And you, depending on the bend, depends on where you are. Like, you wouldn't bend here, there's... So that's the 3 semis. So you wouldn't bend there, you wouldn't bend a whole tone, because it doesn't fit. Immediately sticks out like a sore thumb, whereas a bend there, because that works. So if you're going to do a bend there, you've got to push yourself and go for a 1.5 tone bend. As opposed to there, which is just a 1 tone. Yeah, so just something to be aware of when you are bending. So like I say, these like... Again, you're basically bending up to that note. And that's really just bending that, and then you're just playing the 5 and 8 on those 2 strings. So it's all actually a lot easier than it seems when you first tackle it. You just break it down into bite-sized bits, and remember, when you're playing box 1, wherever your root is, be it A, be it G, be it C, whatever that first finger is, all those notes are valid. So all of those notes are fine. And then you've just got your 1 3, 3 2s, and 2 3s. And again, and there basically I use my 4th finger for when I'm playing a 3rd, and then I use my 3rd finger for the rest. So basically I don't have to move, as opposed to just a lot more movement. The more movement there is, the longer it's going to take, the slower you're going to be. And I'm not fast, really not fast. So. That's another thing, you can play double stops there on those 3 strings as well, because all are valid. So A and D on the 5th, D and G on the 5th, even G and B on the 5th. Then you've got A and D on the 7th, and D and G on the 7th. Basically any double stop, again, which comes onto the is valid. Now we also know that those 2 notes are valid, so that's valid as well as a double stop. So you can use that as a sliding. And up there, these 2 and those 2, those 2 and those 2. So your 5 and 8s on your box 1, your 10s and your 3s are all valid double stops. So and say not the right key, but quick example. Little bit of sharp breast man. Wrong key, it should be up around the C, but whatever. So there you go, really quick breakdown, and it really is that easy, just patience. And if you can, try to do alternate picking, try not to do all downstrokes. Just twist the camera. Here we go. So, alright. I'll exaggerate it first. But again, just like with your other hand, try to economy of movement, try not to move your finger too much. Normally you'd only be... And that's me, I've seen people who barely move their hands at all. But... And that just makes it quicker, because obviously if it's all downstrokes, you're just not going to go as quick. And then you can start using pull-offs and hammer-ons as well. So going up, you'd hammer on. And so switch that back. Here we go. So I'm hammering on, going up. Whoopsie. And pull-offs coming down. So basically you're only hitting half the note, so again you can go quicker. And you know, that one. Really picking all of those notes. That's one pick. One pick. That's one pick. I hit it the first time. Pull off. Hammer on. Well, not at all. Depends. That's all. Just. And that's a great finger exercise. Again, look at Steve Stein's finger exercises. I can honestly say they work. I've only started doing them recently, and I'm noticing a definite improvement in my guitaring, even though I'm only putting about 10 minutes twice a day into it. Go to his various finger exercises, study them, well worth it. That's it, guys. If you enjoyed, let me know. If you have any other questions, also let me know. Bye bye for now.